Yo! What's going on, everyone? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Guys, we just got a pretty nice buy signal on a indicator that we've looked at countless times in the past. We've been talking about this indicator for weeks now, right? For months, talking about this indicator, and we finally got the buy signal on the indicator. Does that mean that we're going to go up from here? Well, let's discuss. Let's look at what's happened in the past. So, as always, smack up that like button. Let's hit 100 likes on today's video. If we don't, I'll be very, very upset. So we could do that. That'd be awesome. If you want to dislike it, go ahead. It's awesome too. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and let's jump on into it. So what's going on here? So this is the hash ribbons indicator, guys. And we've looked at this since the start of my channel. Back in 2020, we got one of these back in November of 2020. We talked about it all the way back then. We kind of said, all right, back in the past, whenever we get this buy signal on the hash ribbons, it has led to pretty nice price action to the upside. Maybe not right away, right? Maybe not right away, but in the coming near future, all right? If you don't know what the hash ribbons is, basically when it flashes the capitulation red dot down here, that means that miners have to sell their Bitcoin in order to pay their bills, like their electricity bills, which causes downwards pressure on price. If you get the buy signal, that usually means that they don't have to do that anymore, right? And it kind of allows that sell pressure to kind of be waned away and allow price to do what it naturally wants to do. Now, doesn't mean you have to moon right away. I'll show you guys in the charts right now what it's meant in the past, right? So let's go take a look. So right here, guys, we did get that buy signal right here. You guys can see, bada bing, bada boom. This big red candle that we gotten on the weekly time frame so far has allowed this buy signal to pop up. Let's go take a look in the past. So I'll just show you guys, what's happened in the past, and you guys can take this as you will, all right? Take it as you will. So the last one that we got was actually in August of 2021, which was about a year ago now. It's actually almost exactly a year ago, which is kind of crazy to think about. We got one right here in August. Obviously, we had some nice price action going into that buy signal, but we continued up from the close of that candle. We ended up continuing up about 58%. From that level. And I'll show you guys all the percentages. We usually go up after, before going back below. All right, so this one, before, obviously, we went back below back in January 2022, but we ended up, from the close of that candle, before we ended up going below it on a weekly close again, wicks don't matter. We did come up about, on a closes, about 51% on weekly closes. All right, the time before that was in November of 2020, where we got it right here. All right. From that time where we went from it, right, that was at about at 19K. Funny enough, about 19K, that's actually where we had our weekly close lows on this bear market so far. Is it a coincidence? We'll find out. But since that one, we went up approximately about 208% right there back at November 2020. We continue this. The next one was in July, right here of 2020. All right. And that went up about, before we went back below it, I mean, it was pretty much the whole bull market. But if you just want to call it this move right here, I totally understand. And that's about a 28% move to the upside. All right. Time before that was right here back in April of 2020. We got the buy signal right here on the hash ribbons. We continued up approximately about 31%. All right, so I could go through all these, December 2019, right here, you got on this candle. Before we went back below it on a close, we went up 36%. So you guys can see we do end up going up a good amount. Not always like some massive bull market, but I think what's important to note here is when it happens after just a massively long bear market, that's the key. Okay, that is the big key. It usually means that the bottom is already in. Now, I know the economy sucks right now. Right? There's a lot of things going on in the world, and you got to take that for what it is. But if we just stick basically to the charts, and we look at what's happened back in this was back in 2019. So we had the long bear market in 2018. We came back down, got that buy signal on the hash ribbons right here at about 3,500. The bottom was already in at that point. We had a couple, we have about a month of just kind of going sideways at the lows here. 1 month, right? So we could chill down here for a while if this ends up being the case. And then obviously we went up to the upside in 2019, 255% gain. Let's go back to the previous bear markets, right? So obviously we got one right here. Not too worried about that. Obviously that was upwards price action too. But let's go back to say 2014, 2015, all right? And see what happened. So we got one right here. Now it's the same point. If we kind of draw this line across like this, at sort of the lows, you guys can see that the bottom was already in when all three of these buy signals flash. Now, this is my main point here is this. Just because you get the buy signal does not mean you're going to moon to the upside right away. Doesn't mean you're going to go in some massive bull market where Bitcoin goes to 200K. But what it normally means is that if you are at a bottom in a bear market and you get this buy signal, means that you're most likely just going to go sideways for a little bit, right? Before then maybe getting some momentum to the upside. Now, this could be totally wrong. This time could be different. We could be dropping to 14K. We could be dropping to 10K on a wick or something like that. Or maybe we stayed on there. Who knows? Times could be different. But if we go based off what happened in the past, right here in 2015, we did get that buy signal right here. We ended up going sideways still for another 33 weeks, right? Which, you do the math there, it's what, about eight months? We got another one right here. We still went sideways, another one right here. We ended up going up and back down, but we ended up holding those lows the entire time, okay, back in 2015. And I think we had a few more back down here. Interesting enough, we had one right here in 2012. The bottom was already in. The whole point was the bottom was already in when you got the hash ribbon signal. You got it on this candle. Yes, you came back down, but the bottom was already in. And the point is we're so close to the bottom already for Bitcoin, which was 17.5K, that if it was to play out like it normally has in the past, it's not a massive pullback from where it is, right? Just looking at what the data is telling us. We also have one right here in 2012. That was obviously the key one, which brought us back to the upside. So you can see that not one time in Bitcoin's history have you ever gotten this buy signal and you just absolutely capitulate terribly lower, at least on a close, right? You can get wicks, like here in 2014, 2015. You can get big wicks on the weekly that drop you. I mean, this wick right here was about a 21% move to the downside. This wick right here was about 26% move to the downside. If we were to do something like that, and this indicator basically takes off closes, which I think is important too. If we were to go 26% down from where we are now, would put us right in that like 15K range, right? Which everyone's talking about 14K. A lot of people are talking about 15K too. Would put us right in that range, right? Would make some sense if we got a wick down there and maybe came back up or something like that. So just wanted to bring this out. I think what we can use this as is a little bit of confluence with, the pi cycle bottom indicator, which everyone's talking about too. And look at the similarities to 2018 to now. All right, so I'm going to clear this out real quick. If we go back to 2018, right, you guys can know we got the pi cycle bottom flash pretty much at the lows, right? It was at the weekly close lows. Let me actually bring that up for you guys real quick. At the weekly close lows, right? We got the pi cycle bottom indicator right there. All right, pi cycle bottom. And then we got the hash ribbons flash on this big red candle to the downside, right? Big weekly engulfing candle to the downside. You guys can see it right there. Okay, if we go back to say 2018, let's go take a look. So it was sort of the same thing, right? You got the pi cycle bottom flash at the weekly close lows. Perfect. Check number one. You came back up, a little bit of a relief rally, right? Everyone thought we're going to the moon. It is what it is. You hit the top, and then the big weekly bearish engulfing candle right here. Same thing you're getting right now. You also got that hash ribbons buy signal flash. Okay, so take it for what you will. Listen, I'm not going to make the case and sit here and say it's impossible for Bitcoin to go below 17K. It's entirely possible. I have no idea what's going to happen. You have no idea what's going to happen. Let's face it, all right? But all we can do is look back at what's happened in the past on a lot of these different indicators and see that a lot of them are flashing that you should be at least be accumulating at these levels, okay? Based off previous precedents, right? Pi cycle bottom, hash ribbons buy signal flash, right? Market cipher B, 2-week green dot. A lot of these have good signals. Will it play out? That's for time to decide. All right. So I'll catch you guys later. As always, smack up that like button. 100 likes on today's video. I'll be very, very sad. You might see the crying face come out if you guys, quite frankly, if I don't see it, you might be seeing this come out. And I don't want to look like this. I don't want to look like this, my man. All right. So smack up that like button. Catch you guys later. Adios. Peace. Subscribe if you're new. Adios, guys. Peace.